Soldier's Grave, Aroostook War, 1838. Here we are in Soldier Pond, Maine. Beautiful place. B&A Railroad came here in 1903. Now the B&A Railroad is the Montreal and Atlantic, I think. And this pond is on the Fish River from Eagle Lake to Fort Kent. Soldier Pond Mill, established in 1919. The mill is not here anymore. L'église Soldier Pond. Trafic ici. Maison Auguste Potvin. Maison Augustin Bélanger. Here's a Swedish flag at Rita Staddig's house. Now this here, you say, oh, you les skis, how old did you say?
They're over 100 years old. He made the first skis in New Sweden, Caribou there. That's his first pair of skis.
Your grandfather?
Yeah, Lars.
Lars?
That would be great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Who was a representative here?
For what?
Maine representative.
Oh, c'était la plate à Floyd Powell, ça.
Ah, Floyd, Red Powell.
Red Powell.
Regarde-moi ça, la longueur des skis.
Yeah.
Ça a-tu du bon sens?
Et puis, j'ai mis les miennes en 1950.
C'est là?
Yeah, my father made those. And further, there's a jumping pair of skis there in another part of the porch.
Now, what's this thing here, look?
Here?
Ouais, ça, là.
That's the Soldier Pond Fort.
Oh, is that right?
I sketched it. Yeah, and these are beams that I found at the river, in the river, at the bottom, at the head of Soldier Pond, the Leo Daigle's mill.
Oh, okay.
So these are beams to hold
now this here, it's...
booms, to hold booms.
Okay, puis là, je vois là que c'est marqué Little Lake.
The Soldier Pond was called Little Lake.
Really? Little Lake, 1838. Fort. You have a fort.
I can take this out of you. Yeah, I got better pictures inside there. I found I'd sketched them a little better. So the real jumping skis that he made. So
Your father made those?
Yeah.
Holy boy, c'est un gars se lâchait là, puis il n'y avait rien pour l'arrêter.
Non, pas ça, that's for sure.
C'était long, puis c'était gros, hein?
Yeah. I went to the big ski jump in Norway, Oslo. Those are my skis up above there. And down below, those are my skis. I won several races with those. That's what I'd ski with.
Is that right?
Those there.
Ouais, c'est là.
My father made those.
Je les ai posés tantôt. Regarde-moi ça, c'est ta grosseur de skis, toi.
Il y a 3 rails en arrière dessous ça.
C'est des grooves, ça, là.
Yeah. the grooves.
in those skis, and your father made those.
Yeah, he died in 52, so I'd say that he probably, after World War II there, he was making skis pretty.
Oh yeah. And you're a Maine history author, huh?
Yeah.
OK, on va rentrer puis on va te faire parler. Yeah, we're here with Rita Stadig of Soldier Pond. How many books have you written?
I have 11, and I am heading for probably 15 of them. I'm combining.
And what are they about?
The Valley mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 of them for the Valley right now.
Boy, oh boy, that's good
The
history.
whole length of the Fish, the whole length of the St. John, and the Allegash.
And you write about the history and
Yeah.
locations and...
Pictures. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have a lot of pictures in your books.
Yes.
Now, Rita, were you born in Soldier Pond?
Yes, I was born in that log house. That log house is my age.
Oh.
1927. I'm going to be 80 years old. Can you imagine that?
Next year?
No, January.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, I'm all close to 80 years old.
Feel good?
Yeah.
80 years old.
I worked, fixed up my house. Carpenter work, 3 weeks. I could work all day.
Is that right, huh?
Yeah.
You're in good shape.
Yeah.
Now listen, you must know a lot about Soldier Pond. When you were
Yes.
young, brought up here, it was all farming here?
Potatoes, yes.
Potatoes.
Yes, and it was very active because the potato houses were here in Soldier Pond.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Yeah.
The railroad goes right by,
Yeah.
and all the potato houses are along
Yeah.
the track.
Yes, and I have pictures of them.
And people from all over around here brought their potatoes here.
Yeah, it hauled to the potato houses, every one of them. There must be at least 15 potato houses, you know.
And almost everybody was a farmer.
Yeah, every house.
Every house, yeah.
On Route 11, commence avec Phil Freeman there, Paul Freeman.
Oh yes,
Those
yeah.
Freemans.
Oui.
Clear down to Fort Kent.
Ça, c'est dans la côte à Michaud, ça, là. Paul Freeman, hein?
Freeman, yeah, dans le bas de la côte.
Ouais.
Yeah.
Puis ça allait jusqu'à Fort Kent, c'est tous des farmers.
C'était tous des farmers, puis ça y allait jusqu'à Winterville, tous des gros farmers à Winterville.
Bon, je pense qu'il n'y en a plus.
Non. les bouchards, là, comment ça s'appelait? Ils had 3-4 big boys there.
Pas Hector, là.
Non. Comment ça s'appelait, ce bouchard-là, à Winterville? He ran
Oh,
the-
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody was a farmer.
Yeah.
From New Canada, là, ça venait tout, on
The
est tous des
strip,
patates ici.
the strips. And now you can count not more than 4 or 5 farmers.
Yeah. Now the road, Route 11, which goes from Fort Kent to Eagle Lake and all the way down to
Yes.
Sherman, is that what they call a rustic road?
That's the Aroostook Road.
Can you tell me something about that road, how
That
it
road
started?
was built by grants after the Aroostook War. Land was given to farmers to work on the road, you know, and they'd get 10 acres of land.
So the road c'était pas un beau chemin, ça.
No.
Because I went to Hedgehog the other day, and there's a plaque there that says it was built before the Aroostook War,
Yeah.
which
It was built for it.
for it,
Yeah.
and there was nothing there except the coupé des arbres.
Yeah.
They couldn't even haul a wagon in there; it was just stumps all over.
Yeah.
And so that's what became Route 11.
Yes. And they had, they'd build their homes, 4 houses together, 4 families together, along Soldier Pond and the Wallagrass area.
Really?
Yeah. They'd gather together, 4 families, and built, their houses were close together. The first homes.
So they're saying there was just woods, so they had to clear that.
Yeah.
Now, what do you remember as a little kid there in the Soldier Pond? I hear there was a skeeto here.
Yeah. 3 years old, I had a pair of skis on, and my father made my skis. And I went to all these lumber companies mostly with my father. I had 5 years old. He'd take me instead of the boys. I the only girl, you know. And I'd go into the Pinkhams, La Liberté, and these people, and he'd sit me on the counter and to wait for him, and he'd go out back and talk to Niles and Tom and the Pinkhams.
Now, what was he doing, your father?
He was a lumberman. He had 2 mills.
Oh.
He had one in Slybrook, and Slybrook was a beaver ranch. He called it the beaver ranch. He raised beavers in the pond. Then he had a waterfall that would hit a long row of, what do you call those? To hold the fish. He'd raise trout. Then there was a mill.
Like a dam?
Yeah. Then there was a lumber mill.
So you're talking about Slybrook itself, though?
I'm talking about, yes.
He had a dam
not First Lake. We could walk to First Lake in a matter of 5-10 minutes from his mill. He was in that area. There was a road going up to that beaver ranch.
Now, Stadig is a Swedish name.
Yes.
What brought your family here?
Olaf moved to New San Francis.
From where? From New Sweden?
From New Sweden. He was the first judge of the valley. And Edward Doyle would take the prisoners up to him to be tried to San Francis at his home.
Now, Edward Doyle was a state policeman.
Yeah, in the 30s he was here, you know.
Yeah, I remember him.
In this area, Fort Kent.
He had a motorcycle, and he'd travel all over the place.
Right.
And he had a lot of authority, I think, huh?
Yes. Yes,
so
he did.
Olaf was like, what was he? He was your grandfather?
He would be my grandfather.
Puis il était un juge.
He was the first judge of the valley. I have a nice big picture of him.
Oh.
You want to present it to the camera now?
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Oh. Lumber mill. He had a lumber mill, and he sold his share to the co-owner. Ils sont à deux sur le lumber operation.
Now, you pronounce that Olaf, not Olaf.
No, Olaf.
Olaf.
Yeah.
He was born in what, 1884?
Yeah.
That's your grandfather.
Yes.
Puis la femme qui est avec lui, c'est sa femme, ça?
That's his wife. She was from Sweden, too.
Now,
I visited them.
your father was born in Sweden?
No, he was born in New Sweden.
New Sweden, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so...
And when he sold the mill, he started a machine shop. And he was repairing the log haulers and the equipment for lumbering of the Allegheny and of San Francisco. And then they headed down the St. John River, and they were the engineers for the machines. And that's why my father learned to be a machinist and worked on mills and built mills. And he ended up here in Soldier Pond and Fish River and built the Labby Mill, and La Liberté was always over there.
La Liberté, so what was that, a mill too? Somebody from...
La Liberté?
Ouais.
Et le bœuf, his sister married Le Bœuf, Florent Le Bœuf. Pas le père Émile, là.
Florent.
Florent.
Père Émile, c'est Lucius, ça?
Lucien, oui, je
Lucien,
pense.
ouais. Now, wasn't there a Judge La Liberté also? In Eagle Lake?
No, he was a lumberman.
Yeah.
All his life.
And he had a mill?
He had a mill too. Probably with La Liberté. I don't know.
Yeah.
But La Liberté, his sister was married to Lucius Leboeuf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. So these are the family. I have his picture. Hey, what he was a woman's man. He was single. And this is La Liberté. He owned a lot of land in Fort Kent and Eagle Lake.
Plaisted?
Plaisted. That big house in Plaisted there that you see on the left-hand side by the lake. That's La Liberté's home.
The big white one now.
Yeah. You can see it from the road, and as you leave the...
Well, we certainly see it from the lake.
Yeah.
Carl Savage.
That's right.
Carl Savage lives there now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Carl, holy boy.
Now, wasn't he a judge, this guy? Me semble j'entends parler de juge La Liberté, moi.
He was a representative and a lawyer.
Okay.
He was a lawyer. He was not a judge. The judge was Olaf.
So he never got married, you say?
No.
Comment il s'appelait son premier nom, tu sais pas? La Liberté, non?
Il est pas là, là-bas du potin?
Oh, attends, ouais, Joe.
George?
Representative Joe La Liberté.
Joe, yeah. He was a representative in Augusta, I presume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, your grandfather was up in St. Francis. He had a mill there.
Yes.
And how come your father landed in Soldier Pond?
They moved down to build the mills, and they Pere Leodeg. You remember Leodeg?
Yeah, yeah.
His father had a boarding house there, and I presume that they lived there. My father and Olaf to work on the mill, the bagel mill and Labby's mill.
And where was that?
Labby's mill was in Michaud, Maine. Michaud, Maine, c'est le faux plat.
Oh, yeah.
2-3 miles near the school. There's a road that goes clear down to the river, and they call that Michaud, Maine. That was a town.
Voyons donc.
And El Père Camille Labbé built the mill there, and he was trading and working with the booms, with the Pinkhams, driving his logs to the Pinkhams. So they were kind of friendly or worked together there.
Where did the Pinkhams have a mill?
Fort Kent, Maine. Fort Kent Mills.
Fort Kent Mills.
There's quite a store there. Didn't you ever see the name?
No, I heard about it though.
Yeah.
They had a store and they had
groceries of all kinds, and it was their office.
Oh, okay.
That would be old Tom.
Okay.
And Bill and Niles. Yeah.
And so Tom, lui qu'on a connu, là, that was Tom Jr.
That was Junior, yes.
Okay. Now, did they drive? They drove logs down the Fish River here.
Yeah.
From Eagle Lake.
Yeah.
Do you know what those piers are at the beginning of the lake? Il y a 5-6 gros piers là. Was that for logs or for somebody?
No, that's a fish dam.
Okay.
To hold the fish in the Eagle Lake. I got the picture of it here. River. They had a fish river.
Me.
And we could cross to Cloisted on that and walk across it, as you can see. Alors, c'est Georges Labbé, la maison.
Ouais.
Pas Georges Labbé.
Carver Labbé qui appelle là.
Ouais.
Ça venait à Cloisted, ça.
Yeah.
So this...
That's the real dam, and that was... La Liberté avait built it or pushed it, you know.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And we still see the piers. The piers
are
there,
but that's the real one. Now all those pictures were taken around 1910 to 1900.
Me. And you could walk across from...
Yeah, you can see the people. That's
Slybrook Road to...
My grandfather, the first ones. I don't know who the other ones are. They'd go up to Slybrook on picnics.
Well. Oh, I see where there's Wheelock Mill here. Yeah. That's in St. John, huh?
Yeah.
You almost had to... Wheelock Mill.
You never seen that, huh?
No, I heard about it. I know there's a Wheelock Lake up there, mais c'est tout.
I told you, those pictures has never been seen by anybody. Nobody in the Alleghenies, nobody in St. Francis. My father was a self-photographer. He'd take those pictures because he was working at those mills.
Now, there seems like there were mills all over the place.
There was.
Steady, it was for lumber. It was for planking and stuff like that?
Mostly it seems to be des Bordeaux, shingle mills.
Yeah. Puis ici, à Soldier Pond, il y avait des mills et tout.
Yeah, you want to see the picture?
Yeah, let me see that.
Here's an important one. T'étais-tu à Fort Kent le temps? Il y avait à le Savoy Theatre, qui avait un boutot qui arrangeait les chiens.
Oui, oui, oui.
That's his father and mother. They were cooks for Albert Daigle's mill in Slybrook. So they cook. It's a fascinating picture.
That's an old picture.
Yeah.
Holy boys, hey.
There's a date on it.
I don't see the date.
It would be around 1910.
Yeah, because Monsieur Boutot, lui, il était un film, je pense.
Il était un film, ouais, puis il y
avait une petite shop à le théâtre, là.
Il y avait un frère qui s'appelait Tinoir.
Lui, comment il s'appelait, je ne me rappelle pas, là. Mais, right next to what today is called the Century Theatre. Between that and the Sears Roebuck.
On the other side of the road, there was a shack there. He had a shack and he was...
Oh, I remember that. I used to go there. And who's this guy here?
Which one? Ça, c'est le père à Camille Levy.
Oh.
That's the old man Levy.
Oh,
he had a mill in Wallagrass, up in the Wallagrass stream.
You saw Camille.
In the Wallagrass, right?
Looks like Camille.
Up in Wallagrass and one at Michaud, Maine.
Michaud, Maine. The first time I hear about that.
And maybe I get a picture of it.
Le père à Camille Levy, puis le père à M. Boutot, puis la mère. Look at the dress, hein? Tout le monde habillé en noir, hein?
Ouais,
des grandes robes noires. Holy jeez.
This is First Lake, Slybrook.
Okay, you're going to have to explain to me what First Lake is. I've never been there.
There's 3 lakes up there.
Okay,
First,
so you...
second, and third.
So you go down Slybrook Road, let's say to...
Suppose you go to Slybrook to the camp. You pass that first bridge.
Yeah, okay.
All right, you take the first left.
Okay.
And that old road goes right up to the foot of First Lake.
Okay.
And you can canoe right up to third, just like the 3 lakes up in Wallagrass.
Oh. Il appelait ça First Lake. Il n'y avait pas d'autre nom.
First Lake, et puis il y avait un camp. Les digues, il y avait un lumber mill. I'll show you the picture. Here's the Daigle Mill at First Lake in Slybrook. That's marked.
Ben, son of a gun. Daigle Mill at First Lake in Slybrook. Ben, mot t'as dit. Now we're talking here. Gars, le monde qu'il y a là,
Hey, je vais au magasin.
Mais.
2-3 jours passés. Et puis il y avait un homme. Van Buren, là. He dit, aren't you the writer? The writer? Yes, I am. Holy boys, he dit, I never knew one thing. I read your books, never knew one thing about the St. John Valley until I read your books.
Is that right?
And he gets up and he comes shakes hands with me.
Now this is, the Daigle Mill was owned by Leo Daigle's father.
Yeah.
Ça rappelle pas de son nom?
Albert.
Albert.
I got a picture of him. I don't know if I probably have a small one. This is Olaf and Jones Mill. He built that mill, was running it with Olaf.
1904, Jones Mill. Where was that?
St. Francis.
Holy boy, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Look at all the people in front of that.
There's another picture on the back. Gee, you yourself, you've been working with histories and you've never seen those pictures.
Oh, no, I've never seen that.
That's
Allagash House, Allagash, Maine. Son of a gun. What is this? Was it a hotel here?
Hey, you know what this is? Did you ever hear of the Michaud Farm?
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh.
They had the hotel there. Remember? You hear the story and everybody talks at the
Michaud Farm. Yeah, we go there by snowmobile.
And that was the Michaud's hotel. Michaud, Maine. And they were working on that road there, studying the Allagash this time. You'd read the Michaud, Maine, the Michaud, Maine road. Yeah, that's the hotel.
That's the first time I see that one.
Yeah, Titi Michaud. Titi Michaud lived over here next to the church.
Isn't that something?
And here's Daigle, Albert Daigle, First Lake in Slybrook. His quarters, living quarters.
Wow. Ben oui, il y a des maisons puis tout. Puis.
Yeah.
First Lake and Sly Brook. Well, that is... Il n'y a plus rien là.
No, no, the remains are there.
Yeah.
This is my father and Willis and the cook at the Beaver Ranch.
Sly Brook camps.
Yeah.
Cook Billy Michaud.
Yeah, Billy Michaud. C'était Michaud qui restait à la high school, le track, là. Il avait un vieux Billy Michaud, and he had a daughter going to high school with me.
Now, before we go any further, Stadig, they were Swedes. They were pure
Swedes.
And they were into skiing.
Yeah.
Before anybody else was around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they made their own skis.
Yeah, my father, and then his grandfather, and then his great-grandfather, and Lars.
Lars?
Yeah,
Stadig.
Lars was the old man that made those skis.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Those were given to me by a woman in New Sweden.
Oh.
She says, I got a pair of your great-grandfather's skis. I'm going to give them to you. And she did. So I had them in the garage. It's no place to have them, so
put them on the porch.
Railing, I made on the porch. This is Michaud, Maine, a bigger picture.
What were the skis made of?
White birch.
White birch. She said it must have been hard to keep that straight and keep it from twisting. And
well, he had it. My father had a mill there here in Soldier Pond, next to the main house. He had a ski shop there.
Oh.
And he had what do you call? Mettait ça il faisait bouillir, boil the water, the front part of the skis, and he put it on a form.
Okay.
He'd clamp it to a form to dry up and stay like that.
So it would stay like that.
So it would stay like that.
The end of the ski was...
Yeah, and he'd let it dry for quite a while, then he'd take them off, and then he'd finish them.
Now we're talking the 1920s and 30s.
The big part of his skiing was after World War II when my brothers come home.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He traveled to New Hampshire and those places in Rumford and sell skis. He'd bring a load of his skis down.
Really?
$5 and $10 a pair.
Attends, il y a un portrait sur Allagash House, Allagash, Maine.
Ça, c'est Michaud House. It's a bigger picture. I enlarged it.
So this is
Aren't those pictures nice?
Yeah.
Those small pictures, I've had them for 50 years. And I got conditioned pictures like that. I was so involved when I saw those big pictures from the small snapshots. I couldn't believe it. That's at the drugstore.
Right Age. Ils font ça, là.
Yeah, she helped me. She made them for me.
Now this is Michaud Farm here.
Yeah, that's the hotel.
Never seen a picture of that.
That's the Allagash Mill.
Jones Mill on Nigger Brook.
Allagash.
1915.
C'est qui reste là à Nigger Brook?
Non.
Jalbert, là, le cowboy, là. Comment ça s'appelle?
Pat.
Pat.
Oh.
Pat Jalbert. That's his home, Nigger Brook. I don't know if he's there still, but he was there a couple of years ago. I haven't seen Pat for a long while.
Now they changed the name, right? They don't call it Nigger Brook anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's called Peltzy Brook or something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, they took out anything had to do with nigger.
Was that the right thing to do?
I don't know. I'm not getting into that. It's like Squaw Mountain up at Southern.
Look at this one. That's at St. John.
Qu'est-ce que c'est, ça?
That was a mill.
Repairing the fire-damaged Wheelock Mill. St. John, Maine. Oh, il y avait un feu, là.
What?
Now that's not there anymore either.
No, but they got a mill there.
Oh, yeah, Irving had one.
Irving, yeah.
He had one.
You know what Irving told me? He says, go to my office in St. John, tell the secretaries to take your pictures and put them on a TV, and it'll be connected to my office, to me, in St. John, New Brunswick, so you don't have to come to St. John to really see me. I want to see the pictures. I sure do. But I will not let me make you drive down here. Just picture them on the machine they have, and he says, I'll get to view the pictures.
Now this is Niggerbrook again in 1915.
Yeah.
Is this somebody's home, Stella?
Well, that's one of the lumber camps.
Lumber camp.
And probably a couple will live in there too.
Yeah, it looks like a man and a woman there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, 100 years ago almost, huh?
Yeah. So that's what here's another. This is the most beautiful picture. I'd like to see that like this in a restaurant or a hotel, you know.
Et Joël, look at that. Et toutes des log cabins.
What you're seeing now is going to be my manuscript. I'm going to make a book, and all those pictures, 5 by 7, is the size of my book. That's why I went down from the big pictures to this 5 by 7, the size of my book.
It fits in your book better, huh?
And this will be my manuscript to print. Yeah. I bought a new printer.
Allagash Falls, 1911. Oh, puis the logs came down Allagash Falls.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're all over the place here.
They were
driven down to the St. John.
Yeah. Ed me contait une histoire. Il y a là...
Ed qui, c'est là?
Edward Doyle.
Edward Doyle.
Yeah. He had he was going up St. Francis to check how everything was going. And Peter Kelly. Because you can know the last name of Dr. Albert's wife. Albert? No.
Harvey.
Harvey. Peter Harvey. He sees Peter Harvey coming with his canoe landing in Allagash. He says, I stop and I walk ashore, and he says, "Hi Peter, how you doing? You know, Peter, I hear a lot of stories about you, that you're the best log driver in the whole of the Allagash and the St. John River." Yeah, Ed, yeah, il parlait le monde. Yeah, Ed, that's right, Ed, that's right. But he says, I keep wondering all the time. They said that Jesus Christ walked on the water. I wish I could have seen that. I wish I could have seen. Il était comique, tu sais.
Peter Harvey.
Peter Harvey.
C'était le père de la femme à Dr. Albert, ça? No?
His wife was his sister.
Sister, okay.
So they'd be uncles.
Oh, yeah.
And those stories stayed with me. Peter was like an open house, like a country store. Everybody go Peter's from the Allagash.
He had a store?
It was a meeting place. No, he was by a brook in the Allagash. And everybody would go to Peter because they liked to hear him talk.
Oh, yeah.
And one other story that was comical that Ed told me, he had 2 daughters. One was going on a bus at Fort Kent High School. And she was late. She missed the bus. Ames, he says, hurry up, get ready, I'll get the car and I'll catch that bus. You're going to go to school. So he goes, gets the car, and off he goes. He catches to the bus 7 miles down, and he stops the bus and he goes to the driver. Hey, I got my daughter in the car. Wait a minute. He goes and looks to his car. God damn, he says, I left her home. That's how he talks. That's one of the things he does. God damn, he says, I let her home. He got the car, but he didn't stop at the house for his daughter. That's Harvey. Peter Harvey. Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what this story, huh?
Anyway.
Wheelock Mills.
Here's a good one.
Now this. What does this say here?
That's a shingle mill. You see?
Yeah, but what does that word?
That's
there?
Wheelock Mill. Toradi. Up in the Allagash, Toradi. Broadway Brook.
1915.
Tu l'as dit?
Well, I don't know. I can't make it out.
Mais t'en comptes un autre. Je sais pas si tu dois remettre ça sur le caméra.
Il y a des affaires pires que ça, c'est
Ella Lydie.
1914 here, the guys are coming down the trail with their axes on their...
Most beautiful picture for a cover.
Oh, yeah, look at that. They've got their axes on their shoulders.
They're going to work, probably.
Going to work, or they're coming back. Yeah, probably they're going to work. They look pretty spry. Don't look tired.
It's the story of Ella Lydie. Frank Hébert va voir Ed, Fort Kent.
Frank Hébert?
Frank Hébert, il était le town cop, il avait une perruque. You ever hear of Frank Hébert?
No.
Oh, I wish I had his picture. Il va crier, hey, j'ai peur de elle, Ed. Faut-il avec moi? Il dit, j'ai un warrant pour, she was making home brew up on that hill there at Fort Kent Mills. She was on that high ledge near, in back of Niall Pinkham's house there.
Okay.
And he says, I'm scared of her. He says, Ed, you gotta come. So he meets Frank Hébert.
Frank Hébert, the town cop.
Yeah, puis Ed, the
state police. Bon, here we go.
Ça fait qu'il y a where I suppose where the bridge is.
Yeah.
Ed climbs towards the house, and he goes in, but Frank stays in the car. So he says, I go in the minute, Ella, I come after you, Ella. Puis sa mère et son père, les vieux, restaient avec elle. And they got kind of scared, the old folks. Ed, Ella vient à Ed, puis elle commence à le fesser des coups de poing dans le ventre.
Ed Doyle.
Ed Doyle. And Ed commence à reculer vers la porte, puis c'était une swinging door, une swinging screen door,
ouais.
Back and forth.
Ouais.
Il perd son ballon. Quand il perd son ballon, il grabe Ella, puis il roule les deux dans la côte. À la chambre
à Frank.
So they put Ella in the car and they bring her to jail. Et puis le jailer, c'était...
Charette. Oui, comment ça s'appelait là?
Bonhomme Charette.
Ouais. Pas Jim, non.
C'est qu'ils la mettent dans la prison, ils barrent la porte, puis ils la mettent en prison. Et je commence à m'en aller, puis ouvrir la porte, m'en aller de la prison. Et puis j'attends Ella dire à M. Charette, hey, en anglais, bring me a Cortex. Il dit, M. Charette, savait pas que c'était ça. Il parlait pas anglais, il comprenait pas l'anglais. Il dit, toi, il se mangeait des bines comme les autres. Elle attend ça. Elle attend ça, ma foi du grand bonjour, ça a dû être comique. Il dit, tu mangeais des bines comme les autres.
Now, Ed spoke French. Ed Doyle, huh?
Yeah, not much.
Not much. Enough to get along.
I was around him for 10 years. Did you know that?
No.
Well, he'd come here in the morning, bring me the paper, and he said, well, il se comme manger aujourd'hui. And I had the heavy wig. I was just coming from school, retiring, and I'd retired here 5 years before me, but he used to come to my house. He knew me well. He used to come to my house when my father was alive, you know. And of course, he knew me pretty well. And he said, gee, he says, Rita, I'm going to come tomorrow because I said, maybe you know somebody that would come clean my house, his camp and his house.
Camp are you late?
Plaisted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next day, I don't know, I had that motorcycle. I had a motorcycle. I said, I'd go ride and talk to him what kind of help he needs at the house. So I drove with my motorcycle to his camp. He was there. So that started the relationship. He'd come here and we'd go eat in Madawaska and hot dog stand at Fort Kent. No, Ricky. Puis,
oh, oui, Gannon.
Yeah, Gannon. I got a picture of that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that if you can find it.
It's a small one in some ways.
I can't believe you're going to be 80 years old. You're quite lively for 80 years old.
You know what this is? Because I was an athlete all my life. I think that's what I think it is, really. I went to college, 5 years of college, 26 years of teaching.
Attends, tu vas me dire ça encore, là. I was going to ask you, this is a Daigle mill in Soldier Pond.
Yeah.
Hey, il n'y a plus de ça. Toutes les mills, tu m'as montré, il n'y en a plus.
Oh, no.
They're all gone.
Those were the first mills.
What is this? Soldier Pond Mill is to the left of the picture. Do you know the people on the...
My father and mother.
Really?
And my brother Ben, avec... tu dois avoir connu les petites nadeaux qui restent à Louison Paradis, la maison de Louison Paradis. Il y a un qui a marié le manager du 5 and 10 store à Fort Kent, là, Charon, là. Grand Charon, là.
Oh, I've... Yeah, that's before...
That's Gene. He was...
That's before my time, see?
Yeah, that's before your time, those girls?
Yeah.
You never knew Jean and
no.
She was a nurse, la femme à Charon, là.
So you, coming back to you, you little girl here in Soldier Pond.
Yeah.
And you went to high school in Fort Kent?
Yeah.
Puis là, comment ça que t'étais au collège? Was everybody going to college in your family or what?
Well, my father, I was the only girl, and my father, my freshman year, I went to the training school. They had 4 years, 3 years of high school in 4 years, and then they had 1 year, and then you could go out teaching. So my father was more interested in me going to training school, but I didn't like it. That Blake and harassing.
Juanita? Juanita Blake?
Well,
what was she doing there?
She was teaching English.
Oh. Did you have a hard time with English? Were you speaking French mostly?
No. She didn't like what I was, an outdoor girl, I guess.
You're a tomboy.
Yeah. She harassed me. I aimais pas ça. And I started to cry. I wanted to go to high school. I didn't want to go back there the second year, so I went to Fort Kent High School. Finished.
So let's go back to the Madawaska Training School. You could go there and do your high school. I
could go there and do my high school in 3 years, and go out teaching with 1 year college. 1952.
1952, when you graduated from there?
No, 1952, I went there.
Okay.
As a freshman.
Okay.
Then in 53, I went to 53, 54 at the high school. I shifted. I went to high school, and I did the 3 years and graduated at Fort Kent High School. Then I went to work. My first job was Dr. Toussaint.
Doing what?
He hired me to go to his camp and take care of his kids. His wife was alcoholic.
Where did he have a camp?
At Placid.
Oh.
En arrière, Marnie avait un hall de danse.
Oh, oui, Marnie, I've heard of it. Matter of fact, I went there once or twice.
Is that right?
What, in the 50s, huh?
Yeah.
Tu sais que c'était ce dance hall-là? C'était ici, à la Maison de la Liberté, là?
Oui, avant t'arrives là. Tu fais ce lac, là, puis il y avait, comment ça s'appelle ça, un chain fence, là.
Ouais.
At the end of the chain fence, and at the end of that stretch of open water, c'était Marnie.
Okay.
Pour ça, c'était...
La Liberté.
La Liberté's house.
So Marnie was like a dance hall?
A dance hall, a beer joint.
Beer joint. Restaurant. They have a restaurant, they too?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
That burnt, I think, or torn down. Somebody bought it, I don't know. And Dr. Toussaint had a camp in back of Marnie's, a nice great big camp.
Really?
And he was my doctor, and he knew that I wasn't well, and he says, what would you like to do, Rita? Anyway, I just graduated from high school. I fell unconscious in the potato field. And he was taking care of me. And I says, I'd like a job. I'd like to work, doctor. I really like to work. I'll give you a job, he says. I know that you could take good care of my kids and the swimming and everything in the boat and at the camp. And you spend the summer with my kids at the camp. My wife is not too well. And you know that I saved that last son of his, Andre, the baby. He was a baby. He was only, a year old or just barely walking. And she comes to the camp one afternoon. She picks Andre up and she goes in the water. She had a bathing suit on and she was under liquor. And I swingais mon Andre là, back and forth dans l'eau. Là. Nage mon Andre, nage mon Andre. Holy jeez, when I spotted her, didn't I jump? I pulled Andre out of her hands and I took him in the camp. And really, I really think if I hadn't done that he probably would have drowned.
Now you were not well. You say you fainted in a potato field. What was causing that? Do you know?
I think it was overworked potato field. I was beating 100 barrels a day. Said Minamo. I was outdoing all the men, the individual man that was picking potatoes. And I went over my physical strength. And I was 10 days or so, 2 weeks at Edmond Lamont, and he moved me to Libit-Labbe to pick potatoes at Libit-Labbe. And there I kept doing the same thing. And at Libit-Labbe, that's where I fell head first, unconscious.
Holy boys.
Overworked. And they took me in the house at Livet's, and Dr. Kirk took care of me for a while. And then I shifted to Dr. Toussaint, and Dr. Toussaint, they'd fill me with vitamins, build me up. Came along with that. He says, when the school opened up, he says, why don't you come to our house? He says, the kids like you, and he says, come stay with us at the house, and you help out. So I did. Then I was 19 years old,
It's time somebody coming out of Madawaska training school. Mm-hmm. Some of those, mostly women, were teaching at 17 and 18 years old.
Yeah. La popular girl, Betty Leidy. Have you heard of the Leidies?
Oh, well, I heard of Ella Leidy.
Oh, yeah, I just told you the story.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Was she Republican? She was at
legislature. Yeah, and she rode around with a bike, I think.
Yeah.
I've seen a picture of her with her bike.
Yeah.
And I think she had something wrong with her leg or something.
Yeah,
do you remember
her foot, she had a high heel built up.
Oh, okay.
And so she had one leg shorter than the other, I think. But she was a smart woman, though.
Did you ever, so you went into teaching after that?
No.
You never went into teaching?
Then Christmas was coming along, and everybody was going to Connecticut. So I wanted to take off, too, and I told Doc Toussaint, I says, I want to get myself a solid job and go to work. And so I headed for Bangor. Then I went to Hartford. 6 more months I was in New York City working at Sears Roebuck. I got a job at Sears Roebuck, New York City.
Really?
Yeah. And I worked there quite a while. In the summer I'd come back and work in the rich people in South Portland, Cape Elizabeth.
You were like
I was a chauffeur.
Oh.
I was a chauffeur for one of those rich women there. They owned the liquor family. They were the liquor family in Boston. And
what was their name? Do you remember?
Holy jeez, Robinson. They had a great big sailboat and Cadillac convertible, and I'd take her to these. They had shares in the playhouses in Skowhegan. I'd drive her down
yes,
there,
yes.
and she had a friend. Sometimes they drink, and drinking parties in the afternoon in those big estates. And I'd wait for them in the car. Once, one couple happened. Oh, what are you doing? She get the car at this big party. Opens the door and he hauls me to the party.
Il voulait te faire boire.
Il voulait me garder avec les autres, les Robinsons.
Ouais.
They kind of liked me because I could drive and, I was dependable.
Yeah.
But I had other ideas when I says, I'm just here because I can get a room and you pay me good money and I don't have to pay for rent or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to school. I want to go to school.
Mais ça, c'était des belles étés pour toi, ça, là, on the ocean and everything like that.
Yeah.
That was nice life.
Yeah, and they drove me, I drove them to the Skowhegan Playhouse
Ouais.
and a Gunquit Playhouse. And if she felt like, she'd say sometimes, well, you can take off with the car, but be back for 9:30, 10 o'clock for us. Or she'd say, come and wait till we go in and say, come to the door at the playhouse and tell them you're Mrs. Poole's chauffeur and you wish to wait for her inside. And they escorted me to a spare desk, a spare chair, and I'd see the play.
You watched the play.
Watch the play for nothing.
Ouais, mais c'était une belle vie, ça.
C'est une belle vie, mais I was thinking of school.
Thinking of the future.
Yeah. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did.
So you did this how often? How long?
3-4 summers. I went to different places. In the
Really,
summer.
huh? What year are we talking about?
That would be, let's see. 57, 60. 1957, 1960. I was clean cut and athletic, They gave me a bicycle to travel to the bus station if I'd leave the estate at night.
So you saw quite a bit of stuff there.
Yeah,
Among the rich.
among the rich.
You
How they live.
you saw how they live. Hey,
They'd come, they had 2 boys and 1 daughter. The boys would come with a tuxedo for every dinner.
wow.
Every dinner meal. And they'd sit down in the dining room there, great big fancy table. And they wouldn't sit down until their mother came to sit down and the father.
Wow.
They'd stay by their chairs until it was their turn to sit down at the table.
C'était a structured life, huh?
A structured life, yeah.
Well, when you have enough money and
Yeah.
you can do all these things.
Yeah, and
and
weekends they'd leave for their boat. I was alone most of the time.
they'd go yachting.
Yachting, yeah. It's a big sailboat.
Why?
And that big estate, the old man would come. You know where the revolver is? Someone comes around. Don't be scared.
Shoot 'em.
Yeah, that's true. They were worried me alone at the estate the weekends there.
Oh, t'as dit.
Yeah.
On va
But
dire,
it wasn't my field. you
Yeah.
know. There I was a cook and a chauffeur. They had another woman waiting on people.
So you always wanted to go to college.
Yeah, when I landed up in New York, once I called home. I says, Dad, I says, I want to go to school. I really do, Father. And he says, well, he says, you come home and come fast. We're going to put you're going to school. And that was Fort Kent College. They then added another year. You could go out teaching after 2 years.
Okay.
College. So now I registered in college. And there I was an athlete with the Betty Lighty and all these husky women, you know.
Basketball and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
Yeah. And Powell would come over. He's the one that put me in, told me, gave me that idea. You come to school. And I'd come home sometimes, you know. There.
Yeah, I just let's talk a little bit about Red Powell. Now, Red is right there, and that's his wife.
Yeah.
Red Powell. He was a teacher at the il appelait ça quoi? Fort Kent Normal School del temps.
It was at Fort Kent Teachers College.
Fort Kent Teachers College, and there's Red Powell.
He was dean. He was the dean and taught history.
And I golfed with him, so I remember him.
Is that right?
Very popular man. And his wife was Mamie, huh?
Mamie. She was a World War II, a nurse, Army nurse, World War II. She was a nurse in France during the war.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Mamie, now they lived here, didn't they, in Soldier Pond?
Next to the church.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had the home. She had the big house.
Now, at first, the golf course in Fort Kent is about 35 years old. We had a Red Powell Memorial Tournament.
You did?
For quite a few years.
Yeah.
And Mamie would pay for that. She would put up the prizes and everything. Red Powell Memorial Tournament.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And she went to the training school for further, get her degree in nursing, and she needed college materials. So that's where they met.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Now, you went to college here. You graduated from the college.
Yes, yes.
And what year was that? Do you remember?
I went out teaching after I got 2 years of college, and I didn't have my degree. And so I got a job teaching. The first year, it was in Winterville, rural school, all classes, probably 13, 14.
One-room schoolhouse.
In Winterville.
Yeah.
Not one room. All grades. Then the second year, I wanted a bigger school. I think it was Van Buren. Then I came here 1 year. I stayed only 1 year. I was moving around quite a bit. And the third year, I was teaching. I teach the third year. Oh boy, I was up here for 4 years. Then I said to myself, they had summer school only every 2 years. 2 summers. You couldn't go summer school every summer.
Oh.
So I started to go to summer school downstate. Arno and in Portland. And I says, well, I got to get a teaching job near Arno.
Down there, yeah.
Yeah, so I can finish my education. I had 2 years to finish. So I was in summer school for 10 years. Every summer you can only do about 6 credits. And 36 credits was the 1 year, so that was 70-some credits. So that's what I did. Every summer I was in school.
And you lived down there?
Yeah. I live in Arno.
And where were you teaching then?
My first teaching job was about 10 miles from Old Town. I was living in a trailer park on the other side of the bridge from Old Town. And I rented a trailer, then I bought the trailer. And I was traveling to school. I was there a few years. Hudson, small town.
Hudson, Maine.
Yeah.
So how long did you stay in that area?
Well, I stayed around Bangor for 22 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was traveling up here for the summer. So I worked near Ellsworth, and I lived in Ellsworth 3 years. I had a trailer there, rented a trailer. I was 17 years at Mount View. After Ellsworth, I called Augusta. I had a teaching bureau to find jobs for teachers. And I called them, hey, I want a teaching job. And I told them I would have to be near Arno to go to school, attend classes in the evening and Saturdays. So I lived in Brewer quite a few years, 5, 6 years maybe, traveling to school in Arno.
Were you teaching in Hudson all that time?
I was in Ellsworth and Hudson. That's 6 years. And let's see. Then I really what did I do? When Hudson was the second run, and I quit there because I had contacted the college in Fort Kent to register in February, winter term. And so when February came around, we had a week off, and I gave my retirement notice to Hudson that I was going to school at Fort Kent to get my degree. Because I was so tired of going to school all the time. And I says, I need that paper. I need more salary. It's better salary.
So you finally got your degree?
I finally got my degree. I came here and for half a year, and I was eligible for my degree in June. So I wasn't too long. It was just half a year here when I got the degree. 1964.
Did you teach after that?
Yeah. I headed downstate. Again, I called Augusta, and they said, give a ring to Mount View Unity District. They're looking for teachers, and give them a ring. So that's what I did.
Oh.
And I got into junior high school.
So when did you come back to Soldier Pond here?
1980.
To stay?
1980.
And when did you get interested in history? Because you've written like 11 books, you said, huh?
Yeah, history, it was Mr. Powell's idea.
Oh, okay.
I took classes with Mr. Powell, and I had good grades. Then I went to Orono, and I met with the president of Orono Teachers College, and he questioned me and tested me for what I was suited for best to get the degree in. And he's the one that okayed the history courses at the college at Orono. So I went for a college degree in history. So that's where this comes from.
Oh, yeah. When did you write your first book?
78.
And what was it about?
The history of Maine, state history.
Really?
I was teaching state history and United States history. And you know how I come about that? That was really something. In the spring, I teach Maine history, and I was doing research on the Indian land claims, and the Indian land claims was going on in Augusta.
Oh, yeah.
And I came across the treaties for my students, and I was taking notes on the treaties. I said, my God, I said, that's what they're studying in Augusta for the Indians.
The treaties.
The treaties, Indian treaties.
Yeah.
Their rights. They wanted more rights or something. So I called the Attorney General in Augusta, and I says, hey, I'm a history teacher teaching, and I have a lot of information on the treaties. And working with the treaties on my students. He says, can you come down and see me? And I went down, and I brought my notes and my work that I was doing. And he was interested in that, and I gave him information. I gave him my notes, some of the notes. I don't quite remember what it was now. And that started this writing of a book. Then I started to put those notes of the Indian Treaty together, and I said, hey, that's for the schools, that's a school book. So that's how I started that first book.
Now the treaties, I remember, I think it was President Carter, signed some settlement with the Indians in Maine where they got quite a bit of land or something.
Yeah.
That was part of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also the Indians in Old Town.
Yeah.
See, I was living there too, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. Then I went on, as I was doing work for my students. I was keeping the notes from my books, and I started to put it together.
Now, what
25 schools use my books in state history.
Is that right?
For teaching, the first one.
You did I have several of your books.
Yeah. Do you have the Aristocrat?
I don't know. I know you gave me some, and then I bought some.
Yeah.
And the last ones I got was at the biathlon. I think it was about skiing.
Yeah, the ski marathon in Bangor to Caribou.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the people you knew were involved in that.
Yeah.
Because the New Sweden and Stockholm, there they had a very good skiers throughout the whole history.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I knew all of those skiers here. Met all of them and visited them, and they visited me even after my father died. They'd come see me. I had one in Lincoln there. He come up 4 or 5 times. He was a skier. He skied with my father, Bangor to Caribou. The first time he come over, never was so surprised in all my life. He says, when I came, I had to walk in back of your house where you were, and you were working on your car. You were underneath your car.
You were?
Yeah. You got a kick out of that.
C'est un vrai tomboy, toi.
Oh, geez.
Now, what is this thing, Bangor to back Caribou? This is cross-country skiing.
Yeah, they skied the highway for 3 days.
When was that?
1936, 37. Then they skied from Quebec City. Not Quebec City, that middle point there.
Oh,
What's the
oui.
name? Famous...
Saint-Jean-Port-Joli? No?
Yeah, à tout de là.
Kamouraska? Pas Matane, mais Montmagny.
Montmagny, yeah.
They would ski.
That trip in Montmagny, then there was Fort Fairfield to Prescott.
They would ski.
Yeah, so they did compete for 3 years.
They don't do this anymore.
No.
No.
I got a book on it. You must have that book.
I think so.
The fascinating book is the Aroostook War. Anybody who gets that book sends me comments on it.
I'm going to look at what I have, and I'll buy the rest because
Yeah, you know what happened? I couldn't find my key this morning there. I got that in a closet.
Your books?
The kitchen. The books.
Yeah.
I have one set of books, locked up.
Oh, okay.
And I might have one somewhere on the Aroostook War.
Well, I might have it. I'll look, and if I don't, I'm going to buy it.
Well, I'll give you one. Look, I got some books right there.
Okay.
Hey, did you see this one? I've been hanging. This is the Dago Mill of Soldier Pond.
1917.
Yeah.
Ça, c'est le père à Léo Deg, tu dis, là, toi.
Ouais, c'est un père à Léo, ça.
And now, it's, that family has Daigle and Houghton in Fort Kent, right?
Yeah. Dago and Holton, John Deg.
John Deg.
John is Leo's son.
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't seen him around. I don't know if he's still around.
Oh, yes. His family takes care of the place now.
Yeah.
This is Papineau.
That's Papineau. Yeah, that was part of my father's...
And is this you here?
Yeah, that's me. Up in the woods there, getting firewood.
Oh. Rita Stadig of what year would that be about?
That's about 6, 7 years.
And this is Papineau, but that's the first time that
I want to enlarge it big.
I've
big.
never seen a picture of him. I've heard a lot about him.
You heard, but that's him.
Do you know much about him?
Well, I can tell you a story or two.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a judge.
I'd like to know about Papineau because I've heard so much about him, you know.
He was a tramp, and he'd go from one house to the other, and he'd beg for his food and he'd beg for lodging. And if they wouldn't give him, the wife wouldn't give him a meal or a lodging, he'd bring down his pants.
Oh, the boy.
Judge Olaf got hold of him, and he says, "You come up St. Francis and do what you've been doing." He says, "I'm going to hang you to the first tree." I don't know if he tackled it, but that's who Papineau was.
Well, I'm going to take his picture again. I want to see that again. Papineau.
That's Papineau. I should have made a
Now,
book
he
on-
went all over the area here.
Yeah, he'd
Fort Kent.
Fort Kent, St. Francis, and St. John Valley.
Oh, yeah.
And voilà, il y avait Mazahout,
Oui,
Evan Barouette.
oui, oui.
Mazahout. I think he had a barrel too that he was trying to sell things too. I don't know.
I remember Mazaout, he must have been Lebanese or something like that. And he would walk in the towns with his wagon,
Yeah,
pushing the wagon,
yeah,
and he would sell stuff,
yeah.
which a lot of it was women's lingerie or des brassiers, puis toutes sortes d'affaires de même. Hein?
Ah oui.
Ben oui, il venait à Saint-Agathe. Mazaout, yeah. I remember Mazaout, I saw him,
Yeah.
going down the street with his...
C'est pas un juif, ça?
well, whatever, he could
Il y
be.
avait deux là, juifs là, qui faisaient la même affaire. Là. Il y avait qui achetait des mink and muskrats,
Okay.
fur. Et puis il venait chez nous souvent. Mon père, he does a lot of trapping.
Oh, yes, yes,
To
yes.
meet them. Puis il y avait deux là, il y avait deux juifs là. I wish I'd remember their names.
Ben, à Fort Kent, il y avait les Esquivitz, comme de raison.
Mais il restait là, traversait le track, il sait que le ski trail était là. Il restait là, le bout du track.
C'était pas Klein? Klein?
Klein, yeah.
Because they called that Klein.
Salomon Klein,
There you go. They call that Klein Hill,
yeah.
where the Skeeto is.
Salomon Klein.
Salomon Klein.
Puis
Il vendait des affaires du tout.
Ouais, puis il y avait
Mostly
un autre.
furs.
Il y avait un autre, c'était Mazahout.
Mazahout,
was
ouais.
his nickname. Mais c'était un juif et tout.
I think that was his real
Il
name.
était un bel homme, Mazahout.
Oh, yeah?
Mais Klein, ben, il était pas si beau, lui. Mais they were buying furs, a couple dollars or something.
Yeah.
Trading. Trading furs.
People used to trap a lot, huh?
Yeah.
All over. I remember Archie Labby. Remember Archie
Yeah,
Labby?
yeah.
He was a big...
Yeah.
he was a patient of mine, and he gave me a hat, a beaver hat one time.
Is that right?
I still have it, yeah.
Huh?
There was a time where people, like 40 years ago, all the men, they wore their beaver
Their
hats.
beaver hats. It was the going.
It was a style.
It was a style.
Still, nobody wants to wear fur, which...
Yeah. It's gone out of style.
Yeah.
Les Canadiens, in Winston,
Oh, yeah. They still do.
You gotta have this man here. Do I have a big picture of him?
Yes. That's the judge, huh?
No, that's Père Camille Labbé.
Oh, yes, yes,
The
yeah.
mill. He had a mill at Michaud-Maine at
Michaud-Maine, yeah.
Wallagrass.
Wallagrass raised the water level of Second Lake. With the right wind, the men would then drive the logs with a small outboard motor and boat to the Third Lake mill.
Yeah.
Isn't
Lake.
that something? Ça, c'est le père à Camille Labbé, tu dis.
Père Camille Labbé.
Yeah, we saw his picture a while ago that was real big.
Et puis, tu sais qu'il y avait une fille qui avait marié à Labbé. C'est-tu un Labbé? Qui se vend dans la côte à Pinette, là.
Okay, now here, what is this?
That's Titi Michaud's house, Powell's house.
Okay.
And
And
that's a church. That's a Soldier Pond building that they turned to a church.
And what was that, a store?
Yeah, that was a tour for the lumbermen and the potato men.
And that's where the church is today?
Yeah, that building, they didn't tear it down at all. They all built a church out of that.
Is that right?
You can see that there's no cemetery in the back. And it's a hill in the back.
Is there a cemetery now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's our major cemetery.
Say, now I know what
Yeah,
this
deux
is.
pareils, ouais.
Oh, yeah, this is closer here.
Yeah.
T.T. Michaud, tu dis.
Titi Michaud.
Si, un lumberman, c'est tout?
Michaud, ouais, c'est un lumberman. Hein?
Il a de l'air qu'il était riche, une grosse maison.
Il était riche.
Now, is this where around where you said there was a
Michaud,
town?
Maine, Lagash, at that hotel there.
Ouais.
The same family, but it's not him. It's not
Okay.
TT. It's
So somebody related to him
Yeah.
had the Michaud farm in
Yeah.
Allagash. Now, where was Michaud, Maine, that town you're talking about?
Tu sais, l'école de Faupiat, il est en town office aujourd'hui.
Okay.
There's a road that goes down there, straight down.
To the river?
Yeah, to the river.
So that's from Wallagrass to the river.
Yeah, that's
Il appelait ça
les
Michaud.
terriers, là. Les terriers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know where they're living?
Yeah.
Well, right next to the Terrier farm, that Michaud, Maine is down by the coast.
I've never heard of that, see? That's the first time I hear there was a Michaud, Maine. I know there's
Well,
on the road...
yeah, you must have had a picture of it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't print it yet.
Tu n'as des portraits.
C'est tous les portraits de mon père.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, you had a...
That's
He was
yeah.
a photographer. didn't he?
yeah, and he'd work on those mills with his father.
Yeah.
So by working there, he'd take the pictures. See?
Oh, yeah,
And he
yeah.
had them in those black old-fashioned albums. And I got hold of some of them.
Now, you were... How many kids in your family?
3 brothers.
You and 3 brothers.
Yeah,
Puis ton père, comment il s'appelait encore?
Walter,
Walter Stadig. And who are your brothers?
Kermit and Bennett.
Kermit Stadig.
Yeah, and Bennett.
Ben.
Yeah.
There's another one?
Willis. It's just Willis and I. Willis is in the home.
Now, are those your brothers still all alive?
No,
No?
the 2 over there died. Ben died, he was only 40-some years old. They're both casualties of World War II.
Oh,
Malaria,
is that right?
and Kermit went twice in the Marines on those islands.
Now, one of them lives next door here.
Yeah, Willis.
Okay, and he worked for the railroad. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I met him one time. They had a railroad ride. They were giving us a ride at the
Yeah.
Biennale,
Yeah,
and Willis was there.
yeah.
So he's the only
He
one
was
left
40,
alive.
Yeah, it's just him and I.
Okay.
And
You live next to each other.
yeah, we fight all the time.
Well,
But you know what? That house is mine.
oh,
My mother deeded it to me. And I was away at school. I didn't know what was going on. They just moved in. And Ben, the second one there, he took over the land. Where that Bennett. Where that Beaver Ranch mill was. He traded the land secretly.
Benza.
Yeah, with Wilmer Associates.
Oh,
he
yeah.
took over Wilmer Associates mill in Ashland, and then he moved in Presque Isle, and he was on Bring.
I seem to remember Kermit Stadig.
He was around Fort Kent a lot.
Yeah,
He was
me
he had bad, il était chum.
semble.
You must have seen him around Fort Kent.
So they didn't die during the war, but the effects
when
of
they
it.
come, yeah.
They were sick when they came
Malaria.
back.
And malaria.
Isn't that something?
Ben was in the jungles of Burma for 3.5 years.
Holy.
And when he come back, he had attacks of malaria in the house. We were all living in the big house there. And he had some attacks at night, and his bed would go like this.
It's like a fever,
High fever, yeah.
high fever.
Yeah.
So they died in their 40s. They were both in their 40s?
No, Ben was just about 41, 42 years old. That's Alan's father.
Oh,
Ben is Alan's father.
oh.
And Kermit, the islands, he had jungle rot and also malaria. But he went over twice. They had sent him out to a hospital in California, the famous ski place there.
Lake Tahoe?
No. Sun Valley.
Oh, okay, Sun Valley, yeah.
I don't. And then they sent him back there, back over. He died in 91. He died at the hotel. He had a heart attack at the hotel in Fort Kent.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were both casualties.
They never were well after the war.
No,
They were sick all the time.
They were sick all the time, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, how much skiing did you do?
I competed with all these towns when I registered at Fort Kent College. That's 51, 52, 53.
Cross country?
Yeah, and downhill.
Downhill too?
I won all the races. I'd ski with Edmondson. They'd ski with the Pelkey there.
Yeah.
So, I skied there. I competed there.
Philippe Pelletier.
Yeah.
That's on the road to Frenchville.
Yeah.
That high mountain.
I competed there a few times. But I beat the Dakins out of every woman skier. It came from Edmonton, Caribou, Prescott, and the surrounding limestone air base. Holy jeez, on gagne pas, le gars qui vient là. Those are the skis too.
Downhill?
Yeah, downhill.
Did you do any jumping?
Well, for my own good, not for racing.
No. Avec ces gros skis là, you jump with those big skis, huh?
No, I never handled those big skis.
Now over here, it seems to me I've seen a picture of a skito in Soldier Pond.
Yeah, I put
you?
A couple of them aside. We don't have too many of them, but there's a few of them.
Pictures of those?
Yeah.
Of that?
Yeah.
Where was it? Behind the...
Il y avait le 50, c'est la grosse côte à Michaud, là.
Okay.
Route 11 there, you climb this big hill.
Yeah.
And the camp was right up there, and you ski down towards Soldier Pond.
Right towards the pond.
Yeah, yeah. And the toll was a chair with a rope in back of a chair. So you'd ski up with a chairlift, or you'd ski up with on the rope.
And when was that?
Mostly after World War II.
Is that right?
45, 46.
So Pelletier, lui, là, his skito on the Fringeville Road was shortly after that.
Yeah.
And you actually had a skito?
Yes, I wish I could find. I think in one of the ski books.
Yeah, I've seen it. I think that's where I've seen it.
Yeah.
One of your books had it.
Yeah.
Now, how long did that last, Soldier Pond here?
A few winters, 3 or 4 winters.
3 or 4 winters.
And he hired out to go engineer a skito in the White Mountains.
Who's that?
My father.
Oh.
And then he went to Blue Hills in Boston. He went there for.
So your father was the one who had the skito here in Soldier Pond.
Yeah. It was run by a jeep. He had a jeep that would run the cable, bring the skiers up on top of the hill.
Isn't that something?
And then he experimented, and then he got those jobs in the White Mountains, Tarn Mountain in Jackson, New Hampshire. And I have big pictures of that. And big pictures also of Blue Hills in Massachusetts, in Boston. That was the same year of that big holdup in Boston. He saw the holdup.
Is that right?
Yeah, the state police who came to the house there, talked to the father, talked to him. He saw them. He saw them run away or run around, because he was living in not far from where they robbed.
Wasn't that a $1 million robbery?
Yeah.
Brinks
robbery.
Yeah, that was big in those days. Now when they steal, they steal several $1 million.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
But that was the first one that.
Isn't that awful? How dangerous it is?
Oh yeah. Well, today I was talking to my wife on the phone, and there's been another shooting. Some man went to a school and shot 10 kids.
Really?
And killed 3 of them, and 7 are wounded. And then he killed himself.
Yeah.
And last week we had 2 of those.
Was that in near Denver, Colorado?
No, it was in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Last week was Colorado and Wisconsin, and
They're,
I'm
they're,
telling you.
they're getting the ideas from the others.
Yeah, I guess so. It just keeps going. Ça fait que c'est pas trop beau, hein?
C'était pas beau quand je travaillais when I was teaching. I witnessed quite a few bad events.
Is that right?
Yeah. One boy grabbed the teacher by the throat and he swung the teacher in front of the classroom.
Where was that?
That was at Mount View at junior high school. I called out to the principal. The man came out of one room, and the principal was a real tall man, and he was running full speed, jumped in that room and grabbed that student and pulled him out and gave him a big kick to the office, expelled him.
So there's always been stuff like that, huh?
Yeah, but not as bad.
Yeah.
No guns.
Well, now we know about it all the time. It's instantly on the TV, you know.
They'll have to put troopers in the classroom.
It looks like that. It looks like that. Already, I think some schools have police officers all the time. Things are changing. So, what did you write about besides the Aroostook War and the Indians there? You had a book or two on skiing, huh?
One book on skiing.
One on skiing.
Yeah, one fascinating one that I haven't printed yet. I have pictures of the priests, all the Wallagrass priests I have.
Oh.
I have a picture of all the boys that were in World War II of Wallagrass.
Really?
It hasn't been printed. I have a picture of my generation as the local people of Wallagrass at that time, you know, and that hasn't been printed either. I have.
Now, what's the difference between Wallagrass and Soldier Pond?
Okay. Wallagrass is a township. Soldier Pond is the name of the railroad station because of the two soldiers of the Aroostook War that are buried there by the bridge.
Now, there used to be a railroad station here?
Yeah. It was at the end of the bridge across the track. That's where it was.
There was a station where people got on the train over there.
Yeah, and so they called that Soldier's Pond, the railroad track station. So really the name of the town of Soldier Pond is the railroad station, and the railroad station got it by the two soldiers that are buried there.
Now, this is during the Aroostook War,
Yeah.
So let's say that we had the Aroostook War was coming there. We never got here because they had signed a treaty, but they were preparing for it.
Yeah.
So we had these soldiers from downstate who came through the woods and cut their own way, probably only with axes in those days.
Yeah.
And then they stopped here.
They were stationed here. They built the railroad. They were building the Italians.
Yeah, but I mean before that, the soldiers that came up to Fort Kent there, they stopped.
Yeah.
Was there a fort here in Soldier Pond?
Yeah.
You were showing me something a while ago there.
I did a pretty good sketch of exactly what it was.
Okay, well, why don't you come over here and explain that to me so that I can, or maybe I'll just stretch over.
This was Site 1 over here. There was a cannon here. And those are the roads going to the river on the side. The railroad track is over here. They were building this track between. And this here is by the highway road. There's a big curve. This would be the second fort here. This would be the first blockhouse. This is the second blockhouse.
So they had two blockhouses.
Yeah, two blockhouses.
Soldier Pond.
Right. And here they had a lookout tower where they could see and guard the river. You know?
Oh.
And the river, here's your river.
Then they went to Fort Kent after that.
Yeah.
Puis dans ce qui est arrivé, do you know what happened to these two guys who are buried there? Did they get sick or something? Or
They drowned.
Oh, they
They were
drowned.
fishing. There was a bridge for the horses. The bridge was swinging, and they were on that bridge. They were fishing for food, and I presume they were soldiers at those forts, and they drowned. I don't know how they were saved, but how they're buried. I hit with a wrong shovel and a pickaxe. I hit a bone. I sent the bone to Augusta by a state trooper. It was human bone. So
you're saying they were buried right there where I took a picture a while ago?
Because the water doesn't, it was in the spring, the water doesn't go over that high bank there where they're buried. So say the river goes by here, there's one, his feet are straight towards the river. And at the foot of his feet, there was another grave. The other one was buried this way.
Okay.
So they were buried like this, like an L.
Okay. 1838.
Yeah, just about.
1838.
Yeah.
They were coming up to Fort Kent.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Well, that's quite something.
Well, they reported that they were human bones. So we considered that's where they were buried.
Yeah.
There's quite a few stories. This is here. My father was in World War I. He was overseas. The city of Montreal. He had worked with his father on those log haulers and things in the mills.
Oh yeah.
He was a gifted engineer. So the city of Montreal found out about it, and they wanted that plow. They needed a plow, and they got him out of the World War I army to manufacture this plow for Montreal.
That's all right.
And this is the original pictures that he took of his plow in Montreal.
C'est ici un snowblower, ça quoi?
Yeah.
What year? Attends, là, 19...
The year's 1917.
17, yeah.
World War I.
So this is your father?
Yeah. He built...
Yeah, il a inventé ça, lui.
Yeah, for the city of Montreal. They transferred him to Montreal to help the city of Montreal get a plow.
Attends, ouais.
Bangor.
Stadig snow plow. What is that first word? All right. Rotary.
Yeah, rotary.
Rotary snow plow.
Yeah.
Puis c'est marqué Montreal, Quebec. Me. And we're talking 1917.
Yeah. And you could take nice clear pictures like that. So that's pictures he took of his work.
Stadig rotary snowplow, 1917.
Maybe the copy is better. I don't know.
She said you sold them to the schools. The books that you wrote.
Yeah. Every school I went to twice. Every school in the state of Maine I went to. And they'd either the principal would buy one or two, or for the library, or they'd send me to talk to the teacher, and the teacher would order a set for the students.
Now this is amazing here. Here's that plow, it seems like it's hauled by a truck, and it's actually blowing snow. It's a snow blower, and the date is 1917.
It's a Key-Track
May,
tractor,
February 1917. Il y avait des snow blowers à Montréal.
Yeah.
Puis inventé par... Comment il s'appelait ton père encore? Walter Stadig.
Yeah.
Of Soldier Pond.
Yeah, they discharged him from World War I to build that in the city of Montreal. I bet if I'd go, I'd sell these books at a pretty high price in Montreal.
Ben, tu peux bien créer. C'est history à plein, ça, c'est là.
I know.
And look at this here. It's really blowing the snow.
Yeah, here you see... I made some reprints out of this folder here from what you have there.
Ah, montre-moi ça, hein. Oh ja, lang we ben ça.
Yeah, that's
Sturdy rotary snowplow. Montréal, Québec. Me.
it's real history. You never heard of
Never heard of that. Ici, là,
I protected the. Because my
1917.
brother's boys are 30, 40 years old now, and I'm having trouble trying to hold on to this stuff.
Ja, moi ça, tu sais.
Yeah, you can really consider that this snowplow and compare it with the log haulers and these mills, how to
Yeah.
run those mills.
Yeah.
He learned from Olaf.
Now-
They had that mill shop where they fixed the plows and the machines and the mills.
Now, there's a book called The Alcatraz Eel,
Yeah,
and it's written by McBride.
McBride, yeah.
And was that related? Was that John? Was it his name?
John, he's buried in St. Francis. Yeah, they lived near Olaf, Olaf's house. They were next door neighbor. And I have pictures of his father and mother. His father was Lawrence.
So how
Lawrence
related was he to you? Your cousin or something? Or
He'd be second, third generation cousin.
oh, okay.
Because Olaf is my grandfather, and Olaf's other children were my uncles,
And
their
your father.
families would be my cousins,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So he'd be cousins.
So Olaf was your grandfather,
Grandfather, yeah.
and John was like his grandchild.
Yeah.
Now, do you know the story about John Stadig?
I have right there. I put it up on that disc. I wouldn't forget it. I have the story when he was living in Corners,
Connors, New
and
Brunswick.
when he was living up here, and what he was doing up here before he turned into crime, making counterfeit money.
He died in Alcatraz.
He committed suicide with his eyeglasses.
Really?
Cut his throat.
Do you know how old he was?
He wasn't very old, up in his 30s.
Yeah, I didn't read the book. I have it.
I didn't read it either because I knew enough about him.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like paying $30.
So this
for it.
guy was supposed to be very handsome
Yeah.
and a real character. I mean, people liked him. He was very smart, but he turned to crime.
Right.
He made money. He made counterfeit money.
Counterfeit money. Yeah. I went to the house. The Corners lives in there now.
Ah oui, les Bernier, je pense.
Bernier.
Oui.
Yeah. And this little girl, about this high, she knew what we were talking about. She comes to me. That's not more than 3-4 years ago. I was up in Corners. And I wanted to see the house and meet the people that were there because, after all. She was pulling on my slacks. Hey, miss, what did it? You know what she says, that door over there? That's a tunnel for John to go out. He had made a tunnel out of that into that old house.
Il restait là, lui, quoi?
Well, his mother and father had moved to Corners.
Oh.
From St. Francis, they moved to Corners. When you go to Glacier Lake,
Yeah.
you can spot that house.
Oh.
I think it's in my book. I got a picture of it.
Now, how did he get in trouble up here? What did he do to get in trouble up here?
He went to the bank and he wanted new $20 bills that had never been used.
Oh.
And also he went and he ordered some photographic development stuff at the post office. And that went out too. They were watching him, They reported him. And inspectors came up and they got hold of John. That's how that went on. Then they went to the house and they found the photographic material and those new $20 bills.
Did he get away with it for a while? Did he?
Yeah, he was heading for California. He was a couple of jails on the way. He'd rent rooms and make money and, $20 bills.
Was he escaping from these jails? How did he get out?
He jumped off a train once. He jumped off a car once. He was a prisoner in a police car. Jumped off that car, jumped off the railroad track, out of a window. Broke the window of the railroad with a booth. Then he jumped off out of the window.
He was a tough guy.
Yeah, smart.
Did he do any smuggling up here? Because that was during Prohibition, probably, huh?
Yeah, he worked with, as far as I went to the Edmundston Library, and I wanted to know if they had information because Al Capone was in a Canadian town across from Frenchville there.
Saint-Hilaire?
Saint-Hilaire, one of those towns, and they were bringing from Frenchville with the horses across the river, booze, liquor, across the river.
Al Capone.
Al Capone. And John was helping him make the booze. And Al Capone was up in Frenchville. He'd come up in the wintertime and make that home brew.
Wow.
Yeah, and John would go help him. So then they ended up both in Alcatraz.
Yeah, they both died there.
Yeah.
I think Al Capone had syphilis or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then John Stadig killed himself with his glasses.
Yeah.
Well, son of a gun. Never heard of that.
He did escape. There was a Leavenworth, I know jails a lot.
Kansas, I think, yeah.
Kansas somewhere?
Yeah.
He was caught there in Kansas. And I don't, maybe if I'd read the material. Somebody told me up in St. Francis or in Allagash, man, there was a Pelkey that was living in Limestone. And he says, you should try to contact her because she wrote to Alcatraz and Leavenworth, and they sent her the story, the real story of the jail that they had. And my father tried to get the jail to send him the story, and he couldn't prove that he was a Stadig of the same family. They refused him. And I haven't been to Limestone. I haven't had my car for 2-3 years. And
so now, Rita, you don't have a car,
I have 2 cars here. I can't use them. What happened? I went to Bangor for a doctor's exam. The judge wanted a good examination from me because I had the accident.
What accident?
I had an accident coming up from Bangor, and I was in Winterville. I took the ditch. I had a moment's loss of memory loss, they claimed. I went to Fort Kent Hospital for a test, and it was that doctor, Chinese doctor.
Tao?
No. He was before Dr. Chasse. I'm with Dr. Chasse now. She replaced him. And he called Michaud up on me that I was driving a car and going to the drugstore for medicine, and that he better check me out because I had a memory loss. So I parked at the drugstore, and who comes on and blocks my car? Michaud.
Uh-huh.
He says, you can't take that car home. You can't drive. He said, the doctor just called me. And I said, well, I've got to get my car home. And I had to call, I think I had the twins to bring it up here. It was a wagon. And then it come to a point where I didn't have a ride to go and get my medicine. I had a heart attack too, Get the medicine and food. I needed that. I was having trouble to find a ride, and Willis wouldn't take me. He's stubborn as the old thing. And when you get to a point where you really need hard medicine, you know what that does to you if you stop it. And I knew what it was going to do to me, so I jumped in my car and I went, but I was stopped twice. I was stopped twice, driving without a license.
Holy jeez.
And so I ended up until last week, I thought I was going to get my license back.
Last week?
Yeah, just last week I get a Secretary of State who removed my license for 3 years plus. I can't get my license for 3 years. And he put down on that license that I was an accused offender. I'd been offending the law for a long time.
Oh.
Puis sais-tu qu'est-ce qui m'a envoyé ça? I had Mr. Kelly, Peter Kelly, take care of me.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
taken care of me before.
Caribou.
I went to see him, and he was dealing with the district attorney, Kathleen Franks. And they didn't seem to help me, but Kelly gets a hold of a report to Kathleen by our Marquis, State Police, Marquis. Marquis says to a report, on his report, that I claimed that Willis was coming into my house and stealing my things. And he says, that's not true. She's lying. She's a liar. He tells that right in the letter. Holy jeez. Kelly m'envoie cette lettre-là. I still have it. I'm on the verge right now of bringing Marquis to court, proving that Willis has been a problem with me for 25 years since I've been home because of the house.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a family problem, huh?
It's a family I own the house. I never put pressure on him because I couldn't run that big house. $700 pension check, 1980.
Now, what your $700 is from where?
State pension.
State pension.
26
T'as pas de social security, là?
No, 26 hours. I was in college. 26 years as a teacher. After 25 years, you have full pension. But 1980, it goes by your salary. Now, I had the degree, but my salary was only $14,000 a year. You average that by 3 times and see, it doesn't. Now I get $700 a year pension. And
a month, you mean?
A month. They raised it this month at $50.
Uh-huh.
And the teachers that retired with me or that are now on pension here, they're getting $15, $16. $1,000, no, $1,500. I get $700. They get
How come?
15, because the salaries went up to $25,000, $30,000.
Yeah.
The manuscripts are ready to be printed. You want to see this? You got to see this one, because
the ski marathoners, our main heritage.
This is on the soldiers of Wallagrass, World War II.
Now
all of them.
This one here is, who's that?
That's my father.
That's your father right
My
now?
father, yeah.
And he used to ski from Bangor to Caribou?
Yeah, he was 2 years in session. He was the oldest man. He was 40 years old then.
And he did that.
Did that.
Do you know how long it took to do that?
3 days.
3 days, huh?
Yeah.
Holy boys, and they're that tough they got, huh?
Yeah.
Now is this, this is Sam Willett from Ashland?
Yeah.
Now he
was a champion once.
He did the marathon also?
Yeah, he was a champion.
Champion of champions. I heard of him.
Yeah, he's dead now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I know all his family and oh Jesus. Look at this one. This book is ready to be printed. All the World War II soldiers.
From Soldier Pond.
Wallagrass.
Wallagrass.
And this is the manuscript. There's Kermit, my brother. Et mon grand tu connais. This is ready to be printed. This is a manuscript. I want to show you this before you give up here.
Ça va être intéressant, ça, ce livre-là.
I know. Hey, attends, tu vois une salle des prêtres.
Albérien Ouellet.
Yeah. Wait till
Didn't he just die, Albérien, lui?
Yes.
Après ça, Euclide Thériault.
Euclide Thériault.
Yeah.
Hey, Gotta sit to the enlargements, the town, the Wallagrass, the surroundings, the ships, this here, I think is more pictures to be printed.
Oh.
This probably I haven't done the printing on those.
Okay. A.F. Daigle Store, Soldier Pond.
Nildeg. Garçon, frère Liodeg Nil. Il y avait un détail croche, il y avait un magasin grocery store.
Really?
Yeah, that's his.
1914.
Et puis.
Comment il s'appelait, tu dis?
Nil.
Nil Daigle, le frère Léo Daigle, l'oncle à John Daigle.
Ouais.
Well, isn't that something?
This is the
Ça,
book.
c'est vraiment vieux, ça, là.
Yeah, this is the book of the Aroostook. A book on the manuscript of the Aroostook, history of the Aroostook.
1915,
Le
qu'est-ce
fish
que
river.
c'est ça? Olaf?
Olaf.
Ça a l'air que ça chante quasiment d'un skidoo qu'il y a là.
Ouais.
So they were really mechanics, ces autres, hein?
Yeah, c'était des engineers.
Now,
They had a mill shop, a mill to build a.
now look, over here there's a bunch of canoes, one on top of the other. They're pulled by horses.
Yeah, the fishermen, ça. C'est pas.
Après ça, ici, un autre.
That's Slybrook, ça.
Hein?
It could be Slybrook.
1919. Holy jeez, look at that. Hey.
Do you have the book on the fish river?
Fallbrook. Where is Fallbrook?
Fallbrook is that brook that runs into the Fish River from Third Lake, First Lake.
Ah,
Nareel.
Fallbrook. I've heard of it,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it. Comment ça te... Les vieux camps, hein?
Yeah.
Ici, c'était des portraits de... In the tent.
Ça, c'est Allagash. In
In the Allagash?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. 1910. Holy jeez.
100 years ago, huh? You can see
100
what they
years
had
ago.
for life.
C'était différent qu'à cette heure, hein?
Yeah.
Here's a guy wading down the stream, 1914. Il n'avait du poisson de ce temps-là.
Oh, boys, oui.
Look at this string of
Ça,
fish
c'est
here.
the grosse partie. The fishing seems to be in the Allagash and Slybrook.
Look at that.
C'est pas
Caught
ça, ça.
with fly rod.
Hey,
nigger-
gotta sit. C'est tous des manuscripts ready to be printed.
Oh boy,
Hey, this here,
you've got a lot there.
this is the church history of Wallagrass. Toutes les prêtres going à Wallagrass way back. This is quite a book here. The manuscripts here, je veux pas te dépêcher, mais
Non, ben on va pas briser ça là non plus là.
this is the priest.
Il y avait
Le père André.
il y avait deux paroisses. Il y avait Wallagrass puis il y avait Soldier Pond, hein?
Ouais, c'est encore ça. This is all l'hôpital Eagle Lake et puis.
Moi ça, ah oui, boy, il y a des beaux portraits là-dedans.
C'est toutes les prêtres. J'ai toutes.
What is this? That's
The church. I have all the churches.
oh, that's
too.
Fort Kent.
Fort Kent, Frenchville, Senegal. J'ai toutes.
Yeah.
This is going to make quite a book.
Oh yeah. Ça, c'est là, c'est-tu l'église de Wallagrass, ça? Oops.
Yeah, the old church.
Parce que I never saw that. I don't think I ever saw that.
Yeah, it was right across from the rectory.
Pawn shop in Caribou?
Hey, j'ai un set de computers. J'ai eu pour 10 piastres. Brand new. Et je vois, hey, dernièrement, une couple de semaines, It's for pawn shop. I need a copier, I says. You got a copier? You do pawn shop at Caribou? I said, I'm looking for a copier. I don't want a machine with 3-4 different things. I just want a copier for my books. He brings out a copier, brand new. He started for $50. No, I guess I turned around a little bit to look around. Give me $40. And he knows I just shifted a little bit. Give me $20 and take it. Holy shit. I said a $500-600 copier. Probably he bought that from some guy that stole it or something. Brand new. Soirée de beau machine. J'ai ordé hier, j'ai ordé the ink for it. It's a Xerox.
Regardez que the ink costs more than the copier.
Well, I found it in at the. I've got the books of Staples factory.
Oh yes, yes.
At the factory, I got it for $108. I sent a $108 check to send me. They had it in the catalog. Yeah, and for that copier, I couldn't believe it. I got another book that for that copier, they wanted $150 for it. And I said, no, so I got this one. I think I'll get it because they had it in that new catalog.
Now, how do
Did you know that Staples has a factory in Framingham, Massachusetts, and they sell that equipment at cost price?
I didn't know that.
Holy jeez.
Des bonnes bargains, hein? Now, qu'est-ce que je voulais dire? Who prints your books?
Well, I've got a printer in Brewer, Thompson Printing.
They've done all
I started with the first book with $2.20 a book.
This is where Rita works and puts all her pictures together.
I had to do something with those pictures of my father.
Now, this is a picture of at Beaver Ranch. Where is that?
Beaver Ranch, that's my father's mill I was telling you about. In Slybrook, that's his mill. Yeah,
now, this picture here, is that your father?
With my mother?
Yeah?
Yeah, that's my father. That's the mill in Soldier Pond, and the other mill is the one in Slybrook.
Ah. Oh, il y a des gros.
Il y avait des pique-niques, là, ma foi du grand bonjour. J'avais été une fois, le dimanche. Les sœurs avaient un pique-nique, là. They were standing by the pond watching the beavers. The beavers were scared. They'd dive in.
Il m'a peur des sœurs.
Yes, it's cloud of blood. So it was like that. Oh,
les beavers ont peur des sœurs. Well, that's quite a picture of Red Powell. That's not a picture, that's a painting.
Yeah, you know how much one of those costs? It cost $350 for one. That's $700 for those two. Mamie gave them to me after Red died.
Oh.
And she says, you take what you want of Red's books. I got his books. I got a lot of his books. And I said, do you mind if I take those pictures? No, not at all. She says, it costs us $350 each.
Yeah.
Painted.
Je te fais penser que c'est qui a peinturé ça, là. C'est-tu Monsieur Morin?
I don't know.
It must be written on it.
Il y avait une femme qui was working with paints there way back. She had her office near the hot dog stand somewheres.
Oh.
You remember her?
No.
Hey, this is something here.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting.
Everybody will want one, you know. As soon as I get my ink, that's my work for this winter. And they're coming here to insulate my house and fix it up for the winter.
Oh, is that right?
Free of charge.
Qui fait ça, là?
Ça va avec A-Cap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the girl called today. She says, did you contact Mr. Stewart? I says, I couldn't make contact with him. I had his address in Fort Kent. And I says, he wasn't home or something. I couldn't make contact, so I thought you was going to call again. Well, she says, and she gave me the number. And you contact him, he'll be over there to see you. I says, I want to use my car. I want some help to drive my car so I can get some food and, you know. And I worked on the car.
Well, Stuart, he's going to help you out, see?
Yeah, his name is Stuart. Do you know him?
Oh, yeah.
You know Stuart?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's the one that she gave me the address.
He's very good.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
She gave me his phone number and address. I think this is a Charles Stewart.
Charles Stewart. You know, he's a very good man.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. And I know him because he sings with Les Chanteurs Acadiens.
Is that right?
He's a singer and he plays the music. And that's his job to do this, you know. You should,
yeah.
You should ask him for some help as much as you can because...
Well, he's coming there to insulate the house and whatever work. I used a lot of oil. That's what this cold house, an old house.
Yeah.
And she says, you talk to him about a chauffeur and somebody to help you in the house. Well,
no.
Maybe this winter, I says.
Whose house was this before you bought it?
My brother Ben.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He built this a long time ago, or?
Yeah, when he got married. He was in Burma in the jungles 3.5 years. When he came back, he started to go out with the Maries. Là-bas, la fille elle vit là-bas.
Oh.
And that's Alan's mother there. And my father gave him part of the big lot, the house there.
Des Maries, est encore à l'entouren?
Oui, I called you matin. Là.
She lives here?
In Connecticut.
Oh, in Connecticut.
The daughters are there.
Okay. Well, listen, we're almost done here. I want to thank you very much for your time. And I learned a lot today. I learned a lot of stuff, and I saw some pictures I never saw before.
And you learned a lot about the valley, huh?
Yeah. I enjoyed that very much, you know.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, Soldier Pond, it makes sense that they would call this place Soldier Pond because soldiers came here, you know.
Yeah.
And it goes way back.
Yeah.
To the time of when Fort Kent was built.
Yeah. Those drawings, that's really what they look like,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's how I had a hard time. I worked 2 summers up on that hill.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very important work you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
To be 80 years old almost, might as well say you're 80, just 3 months to go.
Yeah.
And
look, I've been working hard all day. I cleaned up this house here, and when you called, I was just getting up. And I worked as a carpenter on that porch, jacking that up and fixing it was done. And it didn't bother me.
No?
I was surprised. It surprised me that I could do that work.
Yeah. At 80 years old, c'est certain.
80 years old.
Well, you've been very active all your life, huh? And
I think it's the activity, the physical activity.